Very good evening to all of you all. Today's session is especially going to be on selection of careers, especially for those students and parents who want to make a decision after their 10th standard or 12th standard, what career or what all career can be taken, and they end up with a lot of options. So today we'll be specifically talking about law as a career, what all careers in law can be seen or what all opportunities can be seen in this particular career. बहुत बार ये होता है लॉ एक स्पेसिफिक एंगल से ही देखा जाता है, that particular domain, that particular career option. But during the past 5 to 8 odd years, there's a huge change. There's a dynamic shift which has happened in this particular domain. This career option has evolved tremendously. किस तरह हुआ है, what all can be done in it is what this particular session is all going to be about. Before I begin, let me have a quick check with the participants. Your mute option is disabled, but Drishti, Varsha, just give me a quick heads up in the chat. You're able to hear me? आपको आवाज clear आ रही है? You're able to see the video? Good, great. Thank you, Drishti. So the chat option is open. Feel free to stop me wherever you have a doubt. आपको कुछ सवाल है, आप बेझिझक होके मुझे stop कर सकते हो. Write down your queries in the chat box. I'll be going through the chat section also during our session. All right. So first of all, जब हम career की बात करते हैं, right? Today is a generation where students make their decision exactly what, like 5th standard, 6th standard, they make their choices, they get into particular domains from that period itself. But still, what is the major parameter when you want to decide one particular career? So, सबसे पहली बात, when you want to decide a career, आपके ध्यान में क्या आएगा? 7 से 8 साल आज से, probably if you are in your 10th standard or your 12th standard, or even 11th standard, 7 to 8 years from now, what is going to be your destiny, or what's going to be the destination where you want to end up? Number one, a good career with a lot of money. Nobody wants to do a charity with career, right? हम career एक charitable purpose के लिए definitely नहीं बना रहे हैं. सबसे main purpose is going to be like you have a lot of money, you can do whatever you wish to, you can buy whatever you wish to. A good home, a prosperous living is definitely what we look forward for a career. Number two, with money, again, the ability to buy anything that you want. साथ में one more thing would be stability is also something that people look onto. But nowadays, gone are the days जब हमारे, if you look at our parents, like especially if I look at my parents or even grandfathers, they were like एक आध कंपनी में अगर लग जाते हैं तो 15-20 साल उसी कंपनी में रहते हैं, stick to it like a government job, they never leave that particular job. So that era has slightly changed. Now people look forward for better opportunities every now and then. Opportunities are available. So again, why they look forward for these opportunities? So that they can have a very healthy, wealthy, and a prosperous living. When I again talk about living, money becomes one of the major criteria into it. An ability that will help you to buy anything that you want to buy, right? Okay. बात तो कर ली है हमने. What we want from now, if I look at 7 to 8 years from now, if I have to reach a destination which is going to help me with these all features, ऐसा एक career चाहिए. Major options में अगर देखेंगे तो how to get a good career with a lot of money और सबसे कम competition. Today, if we look at the competitive world, it is so immense, it is so drastic. Like हर छोटी exam के लिए, if you look at it, the number of aspirants are pretty high, right? हर एक छोटी चीज के लिए भी the competition level is pretty high. So I want a lot of money, and that too with lesser competition. Possible hai kya ye cheez? I don't know. Let's see that, right? That is exactly what this particular session would be all about. इस चीज के लिए, if I want to have a good career with, in fact, a stable, prosperous career with a lot of money, I need to get into one of the best education institutes, or I need to get the best quality education from the top universities in our country. Why only in our country? In our country, or maybe even abroad. Okay, so that is the most foremost requirement, number one requirement, कि मेरी पढ़ाई और मेरी ग्रेजुएशन पोस्ट ग्रेजुएशन एक बहुत ही बेहतरीन और एक नामी यूनिवर्सिटी से हो, चाहे वो इस देश का हो या मे बी आप इस देश के बाहर भी जाके भी कर सकते हो. That's your number one requirement. If I look at the second requirement, यूनिवर्सिटी अच्छी अगर है लेकिन उसमें अगर प्लेसमेंट्स अच्छे नहीं है, कैंपस अच्छे नहीं है उनकी, या कैंपस इंटरव्यूज अच्छे नहीं होते हैं, प्लेसमेंट आ भी गई लेकिन सैलरी अच्छी नहीं दे रहे हैं, कॉम्पेंसेशन अगर अच्छे नहीं आ रहे हैं, what is the use of that particular university, right? So number two requirement is, अगर मैं ऐसे एक यूनिवर्सिटी में जा रहा हूं, then I need to have good campus placements with good salaries, right? And the third option, right, जो हर एक स्टूडेंट के माइंड में रहता है, every student thinks about like my way towards that particular goal should be easier. It should not be like a thorny path for me, है ना, काटो भरा राह कोई नहीं चाहता है. For us, or for this particular purpose, if I look at from the education point of view, then you need to have a competitive examination to get into any of the top universities, but those should be easier. Exams should be easier to clear. So these are your three major requirements. अब ऐसे एक requirement को देख के I need to get into to a position where I should be able to select my career option. Now, selection में typically अगर हम देखेंगे, right, what are the most common options that we get? आप में ऐसा नहीं है कि like it's only you and me who make these kind of a selection. If I have a survey around, right, कम से कम now there's a lot of change in the mindsets. But if I look at like again 5 years ago, or maybe 6 to 8 years ago, if I say, the most common answer that I would get, what do you want to do in life? Either I want to become an engineer, मुझे BE या BTech करना है, नहीं, I want to become a doctor, I want to get into medicine, मुझे MBBS करना है, MBBS, BDS, Ayurvedic, homeopathy, any of those lines. So maybe probably I want to become a doctor. अब ये दो नहीं है, then definitely the third option that comes up, very commonly approached one, would be either I want to become a chartered accountant or I want to get into company secretary division, CACS. सबसे तीन common choices. Now ये तीनों ही option ऐसे नहीं है कि ये खराब है. They are very good. They are wonderful options. If you are a person who is dedicated and able to overcome the challenges which these domains throw, then definitely these domains are very good. लेकिन इसमें भी एक problem है. There are so many students who pass out from 12th and they try to get into one particular career option. If I even just look at engineers, 17 lakh to engineer हर साल pass out होता है. Where do they go? Do we have that much kind of a job? है, jobs है. The cream crowd, the tier 1 group जो होते हैं, उनके लिए कंपनियां आती है, उन्हें लेके जाती है. So if you are going to be a part of that, if you have that just in you to become one of that, become one of the part of that group, then definitely this is going to be the option for you. Let's look at few challenges. Again, let me reiterate again, I am not a person who is against these three career options. They are wonderful options, but you should always have something more beyond that. So you should also know the challenges that these options throw. In fact, the बात की challenges से पहले इसकी entry level challenges हम पहले देखते हैं. Let me show you something. The first career option, engineering. Now, I would like to hear from the students who are there now. Give me a quick response on how many of you have seen this particular movie. Quickly give me, Varsha, Drishti, like y'all, like, have you seen this movie? Yes. Do I need to tell you the name of the movie? मेरे ख्याल से by now छोटे बच्चे को भी शायद इस particular movie का नाम पर Three Idiots. Exactly. Thank you. So everyone has seen this movie. ये movie देख के मेरे ख्याल से the approach towards engineering शायद 3 गुना और बढ़ गया है, right? The way they have shown the engineering campuses, and even when I was looking at that particular movie, like it was really beautiful. But the journey towards this engineering, the start process towards this particular area is a little different. The journey is something like this. The train is the number of seats available in the engineering colleges, और उसके against के applicants अगर आप देखोगे तो is something like this. Let me show you some facts and figures की बात करते हैं. IIT JE is the examination which you need to crack if you have to get into the top IIT or NITs or IITs. Challenge देखते हैं. पिछले साल you had 21 lakh applicants who had appeared altogether, क्योंकि अभी बढ़ चुका है तो इसलिए दोनों मिला के अगर देखते हैं तो 21 lakh applicants were there who appeared for IIT JE मेंस के एग्जाम के लिए. अब इसमें से करीबन 3 लाख लोग क्लियर करके they went and got into IIT Advanced, the second part of it. अब प्रॉब्लम देखिए, overall 23 IITs are there. आज के डेट में अगर देखेंगे तो there are 23 IITs which exist. छोटे मोटे सब मिला के मैं बोल रहा हूँ. ओवरऑल नंबर ऑफ सीट्स इन सबका मिला के 16,232, 16,232 seats is what IITs have, and you have 21 lakh applicants. होता क्या होगा बाकियों का? Exactly. That's the number. Do the math and see the percentage how it comes up to, right? On the other hand, जितने ये जो 16,000 बच्चे हैं, suppose if I am a person, I wanted to get into computer science, right? मुझे computer science करनी थी या तो information technology करनी थी या ENTC करनी थी, लेकिन मुझे जाके मिलेगा chemical engineering, mechanical engineering, industrial instrumentation. शायद मुझे ये करना ही नहीं था, right? You get the branches of engineering that they never prefer getting into. But क्या करें? लग गई है, right? That's where your rank fell into. The merit that you got based on your merit, आपका नंबर ऐसे एक फलाने कॉलेज में लगा है और ये फलाने स्ट्रीम के लिए लगा है, अब आपको लेनी पड़ेगी, right? On the other hand, 4 साल की इंजीनियरिंग करने के बाद में most of the IIT people, they prepare for CAT. CAT is another common entrance test, admission test, which is conducted for MBA. अब इस एग्जामिनेशन अभी इसे क्रैक करने के बाद में यू गेट इनटू IIMs और MBA करते हैं आप. आधे से ज्यादा IIMs के अंदर आधा IIT भरा पड़ा हुआ है, यानी 4 साल की इंजीनियरिंग और उसके बाद में मैनेजमेंट करते हैं 2 साल का. सो at the end of the day, you at least require 6 years for the preparation to reach at some final destination. In fact, अगर मैनेजमेंट ही करना था तो there is a new course which is there called as IPL. आप वही कर लेते डायरेक्ट 12वीं के बाद में. Within 5 years, you end up into one of the 5 IIMs which currently offer IPL. वो कर लिए होते हैं आप इंजीनियरिंग की लाइन में आपको लगने की जरूरत ही ना पड़ती. Make sense? Let's see the another challenge. Option 2, right? I am very sure ये वाली मूवी भी आपने देखी होगी. I pray the entire MBBS journey would have been so adventurous the way Munna Bhai MBBS movie was. काश होता है ऐसा. But the challenge is वो सिर्फ मूवी में हो सकता है, real life में. The challenge with MBBS is it is a pretty huge syllabus. Today, only MBBS is not something that is enough, right? अगर आप MBBS के अकेले भरोसे पे the medicine line will not suffice, right? Excuse me 1 second. Sorry about that. So आपको MBBS, उसके बाद में MD, FRCS, God knows how much more you want to like top it up and get specialized into particular domain, so that you are known like a reputed doctor. And 5 साल का MBBS, फिर MD, फिर थोड़ी practice, फिर FRCS, फिर थोड़ी practice, फिर एक particular probably MS onto something. कम से कम 35 or probably somewhere around the 40s, the late 30s, यहाँ जाके तो आपकी पढ़ाई खत्म होती है. When are you going to practice? On top of that, is that really that easy to clear MBBS? No. It is a difficult course to clear. इसकी भी रेस अलग है. Near about 8 to 9 lakh. If I look at the last year's number, the numbers went down a little bit last year because of the issues which happened around. The numbers went down. फिर भी 7 से 8 लाख लोग हर साल नीट की एग्जाम देते हैं. That's the examination which you need to clear from AIMS to get into top colleges. But again, सीटें कितनी है? If I calculate the overall top medical government colleges, AIMS के और बाकी के colleges मिला के देखूं, तो near about 8,000 सीटें हैं against 7 to 8 lakh people. What happens to the rest? I never wanted to do probably dentistry, but I didn't get MBBS, so I went into dentistry. I'm not talking about myself, I'm just giving an example. मुझे होम्योपैथी करना ही नहीं था, but क्या करे, मिला होम्यो तो कर लिए. If you are ready to be a part of that earlier 5,000 crowd, अगर आप उनमें से एक हो, if your preparation, if your readiness is like that, no problem, go ahead with it. At the same time, the third choice, या तो चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंसी कर लेते हैं, राइट? स्पेसिफिकली माइंडसेट बनता कैसा है, 10th स्टैंडर्ड तक साइंस नहीं जम रहा है, मैथ्स में मार्क्स कम है, तो 11th और 12th में ना साइंस और मैथ्स ड्रॉप करना है, कॉमर्स लेनी है. आर्ट्स अगर लेते हैं तो लोगों का माइंडसेट ही चेंज हो जाता है कि आर्ट्स लिया है, गॉन आर द डेज. अब कॉमर्स लेने के बाद में भी मैथ्स के कारण आप कॉमर्स लेते हो, मैथ्स स्किप करके यू गेट इनटू कॉमर्स. क्या कॉमर्स में मैथ्स नहीं है, अकाउंटेंसी नहीं है? चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट जिंदगी भर गिनतियां ही करेगा, राइट? या फिर कंपनी सेक्रेटरी, only with company secretary, is that enough for you to sustain again? No. अभी इसकी भी अगर challenges देखेंगे, there are a couple of challenges with CACS also. The overall passing percentage is only 15%. It's near about 12 lakh people. The first paper. अभी थोड़ा change हो गया था syllabus, the foundation, the intermediate and other part. But if I consider the initial part, 12 lakh लोग लिखते हैं. From there to the CA final, the number which reaches there is hardly 15. We are talking about reaching the final level, not clearing the level. I remember reading somewhere in Google, I think it was a year or 2 years ago when I read this particular news, जहाँ पे वो कह रहा था 12-1 लाख लोगों ने शुरू की थी. तब CA फाइनल में CA फाइनल 1 and 2 करके 2 पेपर हुआ करते हैं. 1 में by the time they reach the finals, out of that 10-12 lakh people, the number which reached there was 44,000. 44,000 people reach that final level. From there, the number of people who cleared out of that 44%, sorry, 44,000, 6% female, 5% male, 11% out of that 44,000 was the number which came up. Maths कर लो आप. इसके भी बावजूद, even after doing that, there are so many CAs who go after MBA finance or probably look forward for a bank examination or look forward for some kind of another financial sector, CFA, CPA, for much higher salaries. The number of years, and again, another preparation. So if you're ready for that, and if you are going to get through all of these areas, then these three are definitely the best option. Agar nahi hai, so we'll have to look forward for plan B. Now the problem, people who get in for IIT JE, ya NEET, MBBS, CACS, they hardly prepare for a plan B option also. In fact, they never qualified for a plan B option because, like I said, they never thought about it. Socha hi nahi. That was the focus. अब प्रॉब्लम यहाँ पे है, तीनों तो हमने बात करी लिए, जो मेन जो करियर ऑप्शंस थे उसकी बात करी लिए, राइट. IITs के अंदर जो स्टिफ कंपटीशन है, एकदम कड़क एंट्रेंस पैटर्न जो है, एक वो है. मेडिसिन करनी है, नीट करनी है, so the career which starts, it starts at pretty late, probably about the age of 40 you start your career. वो भी एक प्रॉब्लम है. CACS करनी है तो ओवरऑल पासिंग परसेंटेज भी कम है, तो अब करे क्या? That is exactly why I came up with this fourth option. This fourth option, which has lesser competition, which has a quicker start in a career than compared to MBBS, and definitely easier to clear. In comparison with the examinations which we talked about, इनके comparison में तो definitely easy, पक्का clear कर सकते हैं. Again, what is that? Then law. If I have to talk about law, मुझे now I would love to again hear from few of the attendees. Exactly law as a career, अगर आपसे मैं पूछूं तो है क्या? What exactly is this? So there are so many people who are there attending. What would that be? Quick one, anybody. Apart from litigation, court में जाके मिलॉर्ड, मुलजिम, गवाह, इसके अलावा, what else do you know about law as a career? Yeah, I got somebody answering. Let me see who is that. Legal advising, okay, ठीक है. Legal advisors. What else? What else, Drishti? Or somebody else? That is also one option. Okay, let's see a couple of career options that come up. पहली बात, there was an era जहाँ पे if you have to do LLB, you have to first initially do graduation, and post graduation that means your 3 years of graduation, उसके बाद आप LLB के लिए जा पाते. But now, immediately after your 12th standard, you can do LLB, which is again an integrated course, like a 5-year integrated course. So पहले 3 साल की LLB और बाद में 3 साल की graduation and then 3 साल की LLB हुआ करती थी, जहाँ पे 6 साल लगते थे. आज it is possible that you can become a lawyer in 5 years, immediately after 12. There are examinations, but does that mean that वो 3-year LLB नहीं है आज के डेट में? No, 3-year LLB still exists. आप graduation के बाद भी LLB कर सकते हो. 3 साल की LLB आज भी है. So what is the difference? You are making your choice much in advance. That's the only difference, right? The 3-year LLB is still existing in the normal law colleges. Lekin today we have something like the IITs for engineering and IIMs for management. Isi tarah we have NLUs, which are national law universities for law. Legal industry, legal field, for to learn law, we have national law universities. Ek do nahi, we have 23 national law universities in India. अब कितने लोग appear for this particular examination? पिछले साल, in fact, the number was even lesser than this. There was only 45,000 to 50,000 people who wrote CLAT. CLAT is the examination जिसे पार करने पे you can get into NLUs, common law admission test. 50 to 55,000 इसकी apprenticeship होती है. The aspirants are limited, 55,000 aspirants. Syllabus ऐसा नहीं है कि आपको पूरी 12वीं की सिलेबस करनी है या फर्स्ट स्टैंडर्ड से लेके 10th स्टैंडर्ड तक जितना मैथ्स पढ़ा हुआ है या जितना साइंस पढ़ा हुआ पूरा. नो, it's a very limited syllabus. It's limited syllabus, limited amount of competition. इसीलिए I consider this examination easy. वैसे there is no examination, there is nothing like a piece of cake. ऐसा there's nothing called as a free lunch जैसे कहते हैं, right? In the same way, nothing is easy. There are many times when I tell people that this examination is easy, उनको ऐसा लगता है कि नहीं मैं कुछ नहीं करना है, डायरेक्टली एग्जामिनेशन वाले दिन पे जाके पेपर लेके लिख दो, पास हो जाएंगे. नो, ये नहीं होगा. You will definitely have to prepare yourself क्योंकि the topics and syllabus, I'll show you the sections in CLAT examination. They are not exactly similar to what you have done in your 10th and 12th standard. इसलिए आपको इसकी प्रिपरेशन की जरूरत होती है, राइट? एंड क्या इसके लिए 12-12 घंटों की प्रिपरेशन की जरूरत है? क्या इसे मुझे 8th स्टैंडर्ड से ही प्रिपेयर करने की? आई हैव सीन फाउंडेशन क्लासेस फॉर कपल ऑफ करियर ऑप्शंस स्टार्टिंग फ्रॉम 8th स्टैंडर्ड. मेरे ख्याल से शायद कुछ टाइम बाद में फर्स्ट स्टैंडर्ड में ज्वाइन करते साथ ही करियर ऑप्शन उसकी भी कोचिंग शुरू. यू डोंट नीड टू डू दैट. आप साल भर की प्रिपरेशन में भी क्लैट आराम से पार कर सकते हो. साल भर के पहले 2 साल के भी ऑप्शंस होते हैं. यू कैन इवन प्रिपेयर फॉर 2 years इजीली. ज्यादा टेंशन लिए बना, ज्यादा स्ट्रेस लिए बगैर यू आर इजीली एबल टू succeed. You will be easily able to succeed in this kind of an examination. Average salaries, we'll talk about few career options apart from litigations जहां पे 12 से 15, 12 से 18 लाख तक जाती है कभी कभी as an average salary which you get offered in these top NLUs. So why not a career option? Let me show you few of the opportunity. I'm sorry, we'll talk about the opportunity in a while. Like I was talking about the sections in it. Overall, CLAT as a paper, if I have to break it down, 150 marks की paper होती है. Okay, you have 150 questions, यानी 1 mark per question. Negative marking भी है इसमें. If you get a question wrong, 0.25 की आपकी negative marking, यानी 1/4 is your negative marking. At the same time, the thing that needs to be kept in mind, 150 questions, 150 marks. Important part is 120 minutes. आपके पास सिर्फ 2 घंटे हैं 150 questions solve करने. This is where skill comes into picture. This is where your practice comes into picture. This is where your preparation comes into picture. इसीलिए look at the 3, 4, 5 sections that you have. इसमें से legal, general awareness and logical reasoning. These 3 things are not directly that has been taught in your academics. आपके first standard से लेके 12th standard तक you do not learn or study these subjects directly. English हम बचपन से सीखते आ रहे हैं. Mathematics शायद 10th standard में ऑलरेडी छोड़ दिए होंगे कुछ लोगों ने, but then we still did maths till 10th at least. There are so many people who continue with maths along with commerce also, right? So English and maths, it's not going to be that worrisome area. Agar you are somebody like I have given a term to people who are scared of maths, the mathophobians, right? If you are one of them, the percentage of maths is hardly 10% in this 150 marks का paper. 15 क्वेश्चन आते हैं पूरे 150 क्वेश्चंस. मैथ्स अगर इतना बुरा है, फेंक दो, उड़ा के छोड़ दो. Still you have 135 questions जिससे आप आराम से पार कर सकते. 100 to 110 का score range will get you the top 3 NLUs. Bangalore, Hyderabad, Kolkata, yeah, probably there's another NLU. We'll talk about that also. NLU Delhi, जिसके लिए एक अलग ही examination है, IELTS. We'll talk about that in some time. All of these exams are possible. Now, legal, general awareness, and logical based. इसमें भी आपको when people think about legal, ऐसा नहीं है कि आपको पूरे 5 साल का लॉ एक ही साल में पढ़ के you have to go and give that examination. No. Legal reasoning है. That's where you have to reason, use your reasoning ability to understand what is given and how are you able to reason there. General awareness, current affairs है, पिछले 6 से 8 साल, sorry 8 महीनों का current affair पूछा जाता है. On a safer level, if I have to say, पिछले 1 साल का current affair. So this year the examination is going to happen in December. It's on December 18th. So January to December, 1 साल का current affair, good enough. अब 1 साल का current affair जैसे जैसे month pass by होते जाता है, you can easily study that. Logical reasoning, CLAT now, earlier CLAT used to ask analytical reasoning also, but abhi they have stick to critical reasoning completely. What is there in critical reasoning again? देखा जाएगा तो सिर्फ English है. You have a smaller, जैसे English में you have bigger passages, critical reasoning you have smaller passages. एक premise दी भी रहती है, उसके नीचे 4-5 questions है. The questions will be asking you about what is the assumption made in the passage, या फिर किस तरीके का argument चल रहा है, what is the logical flaw in it. You have to reason what is given there. इसके लिए आपको additional कुछ पढ़ना नहीं है, लेकिन practice करनी है. ये होता कैसे है, इसे solve किया कैसे जाता है. That is exactly what you need to practice. Then your English, which you have been doing it since ages, right? So if I look at these 5 sections, they are not that tight sections. They're not that heavy loaded sections, is it? It's a doable section. That means still easier. As a plan B. In fact, I would also love to talk about plan C also in this, right? As a plan B, NLU Delhi has its own examination called as IELTS or AILET, All India Law Entrance Test. Syllabus pattern, agar dekha jayega, so they still have the same kind of pattern. If I have to talk up in that particular manner, मेरे ख्याल से again it is English, legal, in fact the same 5 sections. This time they have taken off maths from that particular part, but syllabus again the same. Look at another law college, Symbiosis Law School. Symbiosis there in Pune, Symbiosis there in Noida, Hyderabad and Nagpur. Well, out of that, the best one would be Symbiosis Pune, SLS Pune. Same 5 sections, right? They don't have maths. They have an analytical reasoning in it. That's the only difference. But that analytical reasoning is also something that can be prepared very easily. There's an examination conducted by LSAC, Law School Admission Council, US. The name of the examination is LSAT. This exam, the score of this exam is accepted by more than 85 private law universities. One of the top ones is Jindal Global School of Law, right in Sonipat. You have Amity, you have UPS Dehradun. There are so many law colleges which would accept that kind of a score. Again, syllabus more or less the same. People who are from Maharashtra, they have Maharashtra CET, the state CET for law. People who are from Karnataka, they have the Karnataka state CET. People who are from North, Delhi, DU CET is there. In fact, abhi CUET bhi thi, right? So when you look at a plan B option only with respect to law also, you still have, you will be eligible to give all of these examinations. These examinations are there in India which will cater to law. If I look at the state examinations also, private examinations or state examination agar mila देंगे, there are so many opportunities which would be there. In fact, there's so many opportunities to get inside a law college. Remember, 55,000 aspirants, 23 तो सिर्फ NLU थे, ये बाकी colleges. Number of seats definitely well enough to cater to almost at least half of it, if not all. 10,000, 55 में से 10,000 भी ले लेते हैं, right? 1/5 of it, चलो. फिर भी the percentage is much higher than what we saw earlier, right? Again, when the opportunity talks about, there are some people who talk about मुझे वकालत करनी ही नहीं है, मत करो. Don't get into litigation. You can definitely get into corporate law, the consulting firms. Today, you talk about any industry, may that be an IT consulting firm, may that be an audit firm, may that be some kind of a bank, may that be any private organization. They all have a panel or a battery of lawyers for them. The corporate lawyers. क्योंकि कुछ ना कुछ issue, कुछ ना कुछ compliance, mergers and acquisitions चलते रहते हैं. So this corporate industry needs a panel or a battery of lawyers with them, right? Corporate councils are there. Somebody was talking about the legal advising team, the judiciary course. Oh yes, judiciary course is also there. You can definitely get into judiciary immediately. पहले होता था जहाँ पे you have to study and then serve for 10 odd years, and then you could have taken that examination, JSC, Judicial Service Examination. आज के date में you can immediately take that particular examination even after your LLB graduation. आप कर सकते हो. Civil services में जा सकते हो. UPSC लिख सकते हो आप. You can get into private law firms. You can get into public sector units. You can get into public sector banks. आप NGOs के लिए काम कर सकते हो. आप audit firms के लिए काम कर सकते हो. I was talking about this consulting firm, like audit firms are. अब audit firm में कैसे काम करोगे आप? Lawyer होगे. वहां तो finance associates, finance controllers, credit controllers, auditors, CAs लगते हैं. एक lawyer का क्या काम हो सकता है? But you can ask your parents, probably they might be aware about, whenever these audits happen, if there is any kind of a compliance issue which come up, or if there is any findings which are there, in order to get rid of that or to solve that, you always need legal assistance. Actually, every audit firm has another panel of lawyers with them. If I look at the corporate structure, the corporates almost pay 14 to 18 odd lakhs from the top NLUs, freshers. These audit firms pay 10 to 12 odd lakhs. NGOs, there are so many NGOs which recruit lawyers. They pay near about an 8 to 10 odd lakhs to these lawyers, right? At the same time, LPOs. Heard about LPOs? How many of you have heard about LPO? Lawyers in armed forces, cyber law, environment law, climatic lawyers. There are so many such lawyers who exist. Yes, like I was talking about LPO, legal process outsourcing. The cases that are fought across in different countries, the drafting documentation part of those cases happen in our country. Due to cost, because it is pretty costly out in those countries to get the documentation, the drafting and all of those things done. So that country has outsourced, or that law firm has outsourced that part to our country. That's legal process outsourcing. In fact, we were talking about LSAT. Jindal is one of those colleges which places near about 60 to 70% of their people into LPOs. Beautiful salaries. मेरे ख्याल से वो कभी कोर्ट में भी नहीं जाते. They sit in front of a computer, as if like we work in an IT firm or in a normal private organization. We sit in front of a computer. हम कुछ ना कुछ करते. That's the same way these lawyers do. But what are they doing? They're doing legal assistance. If not that, आप पढ़ाने में अच्छे हो. You love teaching. You want to become a teacher. You can get into academics. आप law institutes, आप law organizations या फिर law universities में आप पढ़ाने जा सकते हैं. नेट सेट की एग्जाम देके you can be an assistant professor to start up with. There are so many things. You can get into media, you can be a part of business. If nothing, for चलो मान के चलते हैं, because nowadays engineers, they get into MBA. I have seen doctors getting into MBA. If you are a person who wants to be a part of the management again, आप 5 साल के LLB के बाद में MBA पे हम वापस आ सकते हैं. Nowadays you have MBA in law also. There's a stream of law in MBA also now. You can even do that. So there are so many varieties of options. You can do LLB in India. You are looking forward for do your masters. You can go abroad and do your masters. Nowadays, you can even do 5-year LLB after 12 even from abroad. Australia and UK would be one of the best places where you can actually do this. US, there are challenges. To do JD, you need to be a graduate. So there are challenges that you need to give LSAT US to do that. But look at the varieties. Kitne options hai? Then why not choose that particular career domain, right? Before I get on to further, I was actually talking about a plan C also, right? So if I have to actually talk about a plan C, let me show you something. So one moment. I have some problem with my stylish. Okay, so I'll just tell you just this way. The couple of options that we saw here, if you look at English, general awareness, that is GK, logical reasoning and maths. अगर मैं वहां से legal हटा देता हूँ, ठीक है? This 5 subjects is something that you have to study for law. This is your plan C, remember, okay? This CLAT plan A, NLU Delhi, symbiosis, the 85 private universities, the state CET examinations are going to be plan B for law. अगर ये भी नहीं होता है, you can still get into different domains. For example, BBA. You can even look on for BBA. कैसे? English, general awareness, logical reasoning, maths. This is exactly the syllabus for BBA entrance exam. Christ University a college hai, Symbiosis itself has a college. There are so many colleges. इनके pattern आप देखो, they are the same. BBA नहीं करना, mass media करनी है. Look at the pattern of mass media. Again, they have general awareness, logical reasoning, maths, and English. The syllabus still remains the same. In fact, it is much more easier than what it is there in CLAT. यानी आपने CLAT की अगर preparation की है, तो आप CLAT के साथ ही बाकी प्लान बी के लॉ एंट्रेंस एग्जाम तो दे ही पाते हो. साथ ही साथ में इफ यू हैव सम मोर इंक्लिनेशन इन मैनेजमेंट, आप बीबीए के सारे एग्जाम दे सकते हो. आई वाज टॉकिंग अबाउट आईपीएम. आप आईपीएम की प्रिपरेशन कर सकते हो, साथ साथ में मास मीडिया कर सकते हो. लिबरल आर्ट्स, दैट्स वन डोमेन जो अभी काफी उठ के आ रहा है. यू कैन एक्चुअली डू लिबरल आर्ट्स. इट्स एग्जैक्टली द सेम सिलेबस. होटल मैनेजमेंट, people who love cooking, people who want to get into service industry, hotel management industry, exactly same syllabus. NCHM CET जो exam है, look at the syllabus of it. It has one extra section in it, service aptitude. Can be done probably for an expert or a person who loves that particular domain. That can be studied in 4 or 5 days. The major segment is this, which you are already preparing. Economics, again another domain जो इतना उठ के आ रहा है, आप वो भी कर सकते हो, because the sections in the entrance examinations are the same. That means I've given you plan C, E, you name the alphabet you want to name it. All of them are there with you. Only by preparing for CLAT, there are so many variations. अगर मैं IIT JE की प्रिपरेशन करता हूं तो क्या मैं नीट की एग्जाम दे सकता हूं? नहीं. इन दोनों की प्रिपरेशन करता हूं तो क्या मैं CA की दे सकता हूं? शायद नहीं. बट इफ आई प्रिपेयर फॉर CLAT, क्या मैं ये बाकी सारे एग्जाम दे सकता हूं? ऑफ कोर्स यस, दे सकते हो आप. If you prepare it in that particular manner, you can definitely give those kind of examinations, right? So that was something about the career as a law as an option. There is a question that came up: can we combine law and psychology as a career? That is definitely possible if you are selecting that as an option. Criminal psychology is there. There are criminology itself is a domain where you can even do this kind of a part. Yes, it is possible, Rishti. Any other questions before we get on to introducing like who we are all about? That's a good question, by the way. Oh, sorry, Drishti. Drishti, what do you do, by the way? 10th standard, 12th standard, 11th, graduation? You are in 11th standard, okay. So have you thought about doing law, or you are just still, what do you want to name it at, surfing? Thought about doing law. Wonderful, wonderful. That is definitely a good course, Drishti. Do not worry about that. Have full faith into it. It can be taken to a much another level. There are so many combinations to it at the moment. So a wonderful course or a career option to look onto. Let me quickly tell you about something about us. So EduCrack is a lexicon group organization based out of Pune. Lexicon has been there in Pune for the past 20-25 odd years. So they have come up with a new EdTech organization, which is specifically catering to all the competitive entrance examinations. Law is also one of them. The ideology behind this organization is looking at the challenges which students have faced in the past 2-year pandemic period. That's how actually the birth of EduCrack happened, catering to all the difficulties, catering to the challenges, catering to the lacunas of that particular domain is how EduCrack came into picture. Because Lexicon has been there with education industry itself for 25 years, so they exactly know what to be or what and how it can be looked onto. So with EduCrack, a couple of offers, a couple of features that they give is you have the recorded sessions, you have the live sessions. The live sessions would be more or less similar to how we are actually talking at the moment. So it will be giving you more of the only difference is I'm just sitting down here. Probably you will have a faculty standing and teaching on the board, and you'll get a feel of exactly how a classroom is. Same lectures, whatever is there. The one challenge which is there in a physical classroom is that you cannot see that same lecture all over again. Here, all the lectures are recorded. You will get all the recordings available to you. There are very frequent doubt sessions. The entire pedagogy, what they have adapted is pretty different. It's more of a modular-wise structure, wherein for every section you have doubts, where they clear all your doubts, where they try to address every single query that can pertain to a particular topic or a module. There are mock test series for different examinations. If it is law, then you'll have it for law. If you are looking forward for IPMBBA, probably it will be for IPMBBA, for HM, whatever domain you will be looking onto, because slowly they'll be catering to all the competitive area sections. EduCrack also has 2 variant features, in fact 3 of them. One is a community called as EduMeet. होता क्या है क्लासरूम के अंदर में you be with your friends, you talk to them, you engage with it. It's like the Instagram which is there. So this would EduMeet would be the Instagram of EduCrack, wherein you can talk to the seniors, talk to the new buddies coming in, talk to faculties, share your queries, share your pictures, share your videos. So a community, a social area where you can interact and get things, doubts, emotions even expressed and get it sorted. AI mock interview is a panel because there are a couple of examinations where you need interviews. You are being asked questions. So this is an AI panel where they ask you, where they train you with expressions, with your jargons, like where you are good, how confident you are. So that's a tool which you will take care of. I could see a lot of questions coming in. I'll just quickly answer a few of them. So, okay, I've taken humanities. After graduation for LLB, Varsha, which city, state do you belong to? If you are from Maharashtra, you can give Maharashtra CET 3-year. If you're from the north, Delhi, EU has 3-year. LSAT has 3-year. Symbiosis also has a 3-year law. You can go for symbiosis also. How to find a person job in law field nowadays? It's a badly ruined profession. There are so many. You want to Aditya, you want to look forward for a lawyer. If you're talking about, then there are so many lawyers who are currently available. Now remember, I talked about the earlier understanding of law. If you get into any law school, that may not solve the purpose. We are specifically talking about the top NLUs, and we are talking about the top private colleges and the option Bs. If you are from there, you would definitely see the aspirants into top or good organizations. How to find them? You can get into their community, you can talk to them, you can engage with them, you can get onto LinkedIn, you can get onto Insta. You will definitely find them. In fact, if you are planning to take any kind of a preparation, Aditya, you would have friends and seniors and super seniors in that particular organization who will get you or help you get you introduced to this kind of these kind of people, right? And as long as crime is there, lawyers are definitely going to be required. As long as companies are there, lawyers are definitely going to be required. As long as advisors are needed, legal advisory would also be there. So it will never be ruined. In fact, it is much more advancing. It is going on to a digital mode at the moment. So the judiciary might have a digitalization happening into it. So there are much more advancement happening in that particular domain. Okay, all right. So I'll tell you what. Now I'll show you a couple of our mentors who are there. Now they are the one who can help you to get you introduced to these kind of people. For example, if I talk about Ram Mohan sir, he's been into the education industry for almost 23 years. So he has taught CAT students, he has taught UPSC students, the IAS ones, civil services, he has taught law students, bank students. So he has a huge network who are there, who are into these kind of organizations or these domains. They will help you to get into it. Jindal sir is there for the past 15 years teaching them. So since 15 years, there would be these people who would be in some of the other domains, right? 15 years of an experience. In fact, he's also been called as a quant or maths wizard himself. You should see him doing maths. Akansha Ranjan ma'am, she's an advocate herself. She can help you to get introduced to so many lawyers. Priyanshu sir, he is like a charm of the youngsters. Like whenever we see, he's busy with the youngsters. He is a person who does LRDI and logical reasoning. You should look at the way he cracks such a huge problem into small tables and solved it in minutes, right? He does magic with those LRDI big problems. Nirupta ma'am is there. She's also been teaching around for the past 10 odd years. Experienced faculty, they would definitely be able to get you connected with many of such people. Right, Aditya? But law in paper different from law in practice. If you're talking about litigation specifically, law inside litigation, inside the court, yes, it is a little different. Initially, you will need to get into some practice. You need to get trained with some renowned lawyer. You have to get established and then continue with the practice of your own. If that's what you meant by that, Aditya. All right, though, I just want to tell you about a batch which is coming up soon by us, somewhere around the mid-September, specifically for students from 11th standard who are looking to give their CLAT examination next year, because this year the examination is there in December. Even for this year, there is an online batch which is going to start from the first of. In fact, next week it's going to start next week. Couple of features specifically, if I have to talk about the batch which is going to start next week, the mid of September one, because next week one is for those who have already given CLAT last year, who have been prepared and just want to reattempt it to see how far they can get it. So for them, there's a batch starting up next week. Mid of September, we have a batch coming up specifically for students who are going to appear in 2023. Now, 2023 December is going to be CLAT 2024. That means the 11th standard students now are going to write that examination next year, even before they clear their 12th standard exam. Okay. Mostly the timings are going, the batch are going to be online. The timings are going to be in the evening. I think it is 5:30 to maybe 5:30 to 7:30 or 6 to 8. This is how the timings are going to be. I'll have to reconfirm it once again. I'll probably share some details with you. As far as the batch is concerned, I want you all to have an attention to one area, because number of hours, theories, class timings and everything, that's something common. This time specifically, EduCrack has developed their GK structure. They have created an exhaustive coverage of all the significant events for the past 12 months. You know why? CLAT as an examination, they specifically ask you questions on significant events under current affairs. Now, the challenge is they just don't ask you current affairs. They ask you the significant event and a static based on that significant event. और जो significant event हमें significant लगता है, वो कभी CLAT के कंसोर्टियम को नहीं लगेगा, और जो उन्हें लगा वो हमें significant नहीं लगता है. So what we did is to ease. They have prepared all the significant events for the past 12 months, catered together, put up at one place, along with the static of that same significant event. यानी आपको बस पढ़ना है. Excuse me. You have all the material required for you. The study material is also developed in such a manner. पूरा का पूरा book नहीं है. कुछ book I have seen in the market, some guides, if I see, इतना size है book का. है ना, आप book उठाओ, गद्दा हटाओ, आपका पिलो की जगह पे वो रख दो, तकिया बना के सो सकते हो. इतनी बड़ी किताब है. बच्चा बुक देखने के पहले डर जाता है, मैं पढ़ना शुरू करूं या क्या करूं इसका. तुम बॉयज कैन लगा डंबल बना लो, उसको बड़ी बना सकते हो आप उससे. द बुकलेट्स आर स्पेसिफिकली टॉपिक वाइज. एक टॉपिक पढ़ना है आपको. सपोज लीगल में कॉन्ट्रैक्ट पढ़ना है आपको, तो कॉन्ट्रैक्ट के लिए एक किताब है, वन बुकलेट, लेट मी कॉल इट. यू हैव ऑल द रिलेटेड थियरीज उसके लिए, and the questions which needs to be solved in the class, and also some questions which are there for you to practice back at home. At the same time, you also have mocks and practice questions. करीबन 15,000 के practice questions आपके पोर्टल के अंदर दी गई हुई है. किसी ने अगर वो पूरे mocks और 15,000 question ही solve कर लिए ईमानदारी से, and got all of them correct, understood the basics, आपका CLAT वैसे ही निकल जाएगा. Why CLAT? Remember plan A, B and C, सारे ही निकल आए. Right? You have a personal mentor that has been assigned to you, which is who's going to be taking care of your progress individually. There are regular parent and teachers meeting defined with this particular course, so that parents are also aware of what is happening with the children. I have a specific mindset that it's just not student and the teacher alone. Student को लेके कोचिंग इंस्टीट्यूट में या कॉलेज में लगा दिए, अब आपके हवाले वतन साथियों वाला काम हो गया. It will not work like that. It has to be a three-way, because from here the tutor is going to give that information to the student. Whether the student is doing it or not is something that happens back at home. वो कर भी लिया, if he is getting down with something, उसे वो push-up सिर्फ एक angle से नहीं, दोनों तरफ से मिलेगी. That is why this part is necessary. A student, parent, teacher combination is very much necessary. So there is going to be a regular meeting schedule. बहुत बार ये होता है स्टूडेंट पढ़ जरूर लेता है लेकिन उसकी स्ट्रैटेजीज वर्कआउट नहीं देती है. The exam taking strategy से भी ज्यादा, there are so many people who have that examination hall anxiety which is there. How are you going to get rid of that? You need a mentor for that. You need practice for that. And at the same time, ये फॉर्म भरना, मेरे ख्याल से ये फॉर्म भरने के लिए तो अलग से कोर्स निकालनी चाहिए. ऐसा डिटेल्ड फॉर्म आता है, तो भरना कैसे है, कॉलेज की सिलेक्शन कैसी करनी है, किस बेसिस पे क्या डिपेंड करता हुआ रहेगा कि मेरा ये कॉलेज इज गोना बी गुड. आई एम गोना सेलेक्ट दिस पर्टिकुलर कॉलेज because I have this kind of a career future thought in my mind. How are you going to make that decision? That's an expert guidance required for that. That guidance is also going to be there. What I would recommend is note down the number that I've mentioned on the screen for any of the batch details and queries or fees or timings, like somebody was asking about the timings. You can actually get in touch with the counselors who are there in this number. They will be able to provide you the details. The syllabus and the module is already available online. It's pretty easily available. If you go to the Consortium of Law website, the CLAC syllabus and the modules are already given there. All right, so any other questions? Anything that you would love to ask? No? Feel free to ask. Hope I was able to give you most of the information about law as a career. To be honest, there are a lot of talks that is going around with law as a career option. People who are already there in it, people who are getting into it. There are people who are even getting out of it. So there's a lot of information which pass on from here and there. But honestly, if you have decided that law is something that you want to do, or if you are in like a borderline that whether I should get into it or not, let me tell you, this is a wonderful domain to step into. There are ample opportunities and enough of career domains that you can flourish out with law as a career option. Again, if you still, okay, I think there's a question that came up. See, it's a 5-year course. History has put up a question. How is the student culture at NLU? Is it very studious environment at the NLUs? If you're talking about the top NLUs, you will be having a studious crowd. But I happen to speak to a lot of my students who are there in the NLUs. They have a curriculum. So some of them have a semester pattern. A couple of them have a trimester pattern. That means they get break thrice a year. That also means they have examination twice a year. There's a lot to cover, but it's not that something you are dead with examinations or dead with theory and too much of study. It's a good mix and blend of cultural activities, the academic activity, the sport activities. There are moot courts which happen in NLUs. So it's a nice, fun environment to be with. I have a question, sir. After BA LLB क्या करें? BA LLB के बाद में आप सिविल सर्विसेज कर सकते हो, अगर आगे कुछ और करना है. आप LLM कर सकते हो, आप MBA कर सकते हो, आप MS कर सकते हो, आप क्रिमिनोलॉजी कर सकते हो, आप any psychological field कर सकते हो. जैसे we had somebody who were talking about psychology. You can get into JSC, judicial services कर सकते हो आप. There are a lot of areas that you can get into after LLB. आप जिस domain में or the area that you like to get into, you can again get into that domain also. I am confused between law career and business career. So can you tell me which is better? Both have its pros and cons. Why don't you do a blend of it? You do LLB first, you do BA LLB first. So you are a lawyer, and post that, top it up with MBA. That means you're going to blend both of them together. both has its own time-taking concept. If it is only business management, if you're looking onto, I would recommend you to go with IPM, because it is again shorter and less competitive than what it is through the CAT market. If you look at law, then again the 5-year law is there. But if there is too much of confusion, you can even club both of them together, BA, LLB, MBA. That can be also something that you can look onto. We have another question. So in consortium of NLE website, the total mark of CLAT is mentioned as 200. That's an old data which is there. Now it is 150 marks. Post 2020, the paper got changed. It was early of 200 marks in 2 hours. That's not the case now. For the last 2 to 3 years, it's been 150. Even last year paper was 150. But did you check the right place? Because I am checking the consortium detail. It shows me 150 syllabus. Probably you're looking at a very old paper pattern. Look at the recent paper pattern. It is 150 only. So if we do LLM abroad, can we still practice in India? Oh yes, because you completed your BA LLB in India. You can still practice in India. You can register yourself based on your LLB degree. You can still do that. Chalo मान के चलते हैं कि you completely did your entire LLB and LLM abroad. There are many bridge courses between India and UK. There are many universities which have a bridge tie-up wherein you can have those courses through which you can practice there and even here in India. There are a couple of examinations which you need to write when you're back here, and you would still be able to practice in our bar council also. Okay, what else? Thank you, Deepak. Thank you, Drishti. So if there are no more questions, it was nice to have a good discussion with you. In case if you still have more queries, feel free to call us on the number that you see on your screen, or you can even write to us if it's a detailed discussion. If you want to have a one-to-one session, like a counseling session with any of the mentors out here, feel free to call us, book an appointment with them. They will be more than happy to sit with you over a phone. You want to come down here personally to the address mentioned here, they would be available here to give you guidance, to help you with your career options. If you're confused with making a choice, which one to select, pick up a phone, you can call, you can fix an appointment. They will guide you with the same, free of charge. All right. So thank you for being a part of this particular session. All the best for your future and work hard. Bye-bye.